This is a 2023 Thor Tranquility 19P. Hey, this is Frank at the RV Shop here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And this is a 2023 Thor Tranquility 19P. We're gonna do a walkthrough, an orientation for you, so you can get up to speed on how to use most of its major systems. Before we get into it, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Frank at the Shop, or click the link on the lower right. We're going to start here at the entry, then we'll do the outside. So basically, we're going to open that door. Manual door, you just simply give it a tug and pull back and it'll lock itself in place towards the back. Now, first and foremost, we're going to start with this right here. So, see this knob? That's our power knob. You can see it's got on position and it's got off position. Obviously, if you're using the van, it needs to be in on position. So, if it's like, when would you have it off? Well, if you have it in storage somewhere, it's not being used, and it is not plugged into shore power, I would have it off. Otherwise, if it's plugged into shore power, I would leave it on. So some people will store this van plugged in all the time. Well, then it should be left on. But if it's not plugged into shore power, leave it off. If it's sitting outside your house or wherever, it does have solar panels, so it will receive a charge even with this in the off position, right? So that's our power control knob. Now this, of course, is the link to our lithium batteries. It has nothing to do with the stuff on the front, you know, stuff in the cab, the Mercedes part of things. That's totally independent of the stuff here in the back. Of course, we have an outlet here. We have this little monitor panel. This monitor panel is for our master volt inverter and charging system. Basically, the magic behind all the inverter, behind the lithium batteries and all the charging that takes place back here, as well as the power that's created for running 110 volt stuff off of battery power. So with this panel, normally it has this little protective cover on it. That just easily pops off. Then we can see on our main screen. Now sometimes this is off, you may have to power it on so you can view it. So once it's on, we can see several things. So we can see our house battery. See there, it says state of charge 100%. Up here on the right, you see our house battery voltage. It's a 13.74, and it even tells you the temperature. House time remaining, it hasn't displayed a time. Usually when you first start it, it'll show blank like this. We just got this up and running. So it needs a little time to calculate that. Then it'll tell you approximately how much time you have left of battery remaining, there on that sheet right now. Like I said, we just got it up and running, and so that's part of the reason why it's blank. The main reason why it's blank though is because we are plugged into shore power. So right now it's pretty much indefinite, right? Because we're plugged into shore power. If I disconnect that from shore power, then it'll take a little bit to calculate how much time is remaining on the batteries with current use. So Hope that makes sense. And we can swipe through these screens. It does have like a little protective plastic here. So there's another screen here. We can see that we are charging. We can see our Combi Master inverter system is on. We're plugged into 30 amps of power output voltage from the system right now. So it shows that. It shows input voltage is also 110. Our alternator is activated. Now that's an important screen because this unit, as you may or may not know, it has an alternator that charges the Mercedes battery that sits in the front floor of the RV or the van. But in addition to that, it's got a secondary alternator whose job it is to charge the lithium cells that are in the back that are part of the RV system or the RV batteries. So that secondary alternator can be turned off. Like right now, it's activated. Normally you want it activated. So when the vehicle is running, it'll charge the batteries, the RV, the camper batteries, right? So you should be aware that it can be turned off. Sometimes we get people having issues with these vans and it turns out they accidentally deactivated the alternator. So important to note that can be a thing. So like for example, you hit this little menu button here, you see house battery, alternator, Combi Master, that's the inverter. So if I hit the Combi Master, that'll take me to the inverter. Now the inverter is an inverter charger. So here it shows you the inverter and the charger as two separate things, even though it's the same unit. If I didn't want to charge the batteries, I could turn it off by pressing there. Or if I didn't need inverter power, I could shut off the inverter part of it from right there. I could also, like, see here where it says AC in limit, I can press that and I can tell it a different limit. Right now it's 30 amps because we're plugged into 30 amps. That's the default. But let's say that we had this plugged into a regular 110 outlet at home, which would typically be at 15 amps. So we could tell it, 15 amps here on that screen, and that way it would not try to draw too much current from a regular 110 outlet, which would be a dangerous condition, or possibly throw some breakers in your breaker box at home or in this van. So that would be something that you would use that for. Normally it'll be in the 30 amp range. So right now we're currently running the AC in this van. So if, like on 15 amps, if I plug this van into 15 amps, it would not be able to operate off of 15 amps. It would have to draw on battery power. So if let's say that we were, I just turned off the inverter, turn back on. In this case, turning off the inverter didn't do anything because like I said, we're running on short power. So if I set this to 15 amps here and I had the inverter off, if I then run the AC, it'll cause it to, the AC would not work because it's going to try, it's going to realize that running the AC will put it over the 15 amp limit that I gave it. So that's important to note in what that does for you. It's for safety, you can limit it to how much power it draws, right? Let's go back here. Alternator, once again, here's where I can turn the alternator on and off. Here I can look at my house battery, see stats on the house battery. Like I said, the only thing that's blank is time remaining, because right now we're plugged into short power, so time remaining is indefinite until I disconnect the short power, and then it'll start calculating. Now once again, this is our Masterbolt Easy View 5 touch control panel that we are looking at. This is where we're going to get all our status on inverter and charging of the lithium cells on this coach. This is where we can control things like charging, like inverter, whether our inverter and charger are on, whether our Balmar auxiliary alternator is on. All that can be controlled from this panel here. So at any rate, we're going to move on from that. Let's go ahead and put our little cover back on. There we go. Now, additionally, other things we have on this van, we have a little tray that comes out with a Bluetooth speaker that's mounted there. That's removable. You got USB charging ports there. You got a 110 outlet, and we got a little storage area here, as well as storage underneath that area. We're gonna go ahead and hop on in. First and foremost, we have our refrigerator right as we come in. Freezer section. Here's our power button there, and we can control the how cold it is. So you see 5 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at bar 3. We can make it colder just simply by using that dial right there. We can also turn on sleep mode here. That's what that little moon is for. Sleep mode will run this refrigerator at a reduced rate to conserve battery power. I don't believe I mentioned right off the bat, this is a 12-volt refrigerator. It does not run on propane. It does not run on 110. It runs on battery power at DC voltage. So keep that in mind. So microwave is just a microwave, but it's not convection. Up here you can see the cab area. Now there is a table, and this pole is for the table, right? See that? So that table, so you get that pole and lock it into that puck there on the floor, right? Then that table goes on top of the pole. That's simple. Then you have your little dinette set up here in the back. Behind these doors is the bathroom area. So here is our bathroom area. Now the drain. So first off, I should say, what we are looking at here is a combined bathroom and shower and sink area. Everything's all in one. This is what they call a wet bath. So if you're gonna shower, there's your shower controls, hose. If you're gonna shower, you are going to obviously have to remove that mat to take a shower, because the drain is right there, right? And when you're showering, important to note that this most of everything in here can be wet, no problem. However, these doors, Thor would rather you not get wet. So that's why they give you a shower curtain. See that? So when you're showering, you use the shower curtain. You can have these doors open, let some air out. You do have a fan up here. Simply push up. There's a button here for the fan. So push open. So, and then our sink. Now, when you're using this sink, obviously use it like a sink, but you see there's no drain in here. So when this gets full, you just simply do that and empty it down there where the drain is. Get this out the way. Use that. So you have your fan controls and your lighting controls, and of course, a little medicine cabinet back here. Now, I'm sure if you purchase this van, you probably know what this is. This is, of course, a cassette toilet. There is no black holding tank on this van. Instead, you have a cassette that you can take out and roll. It's got wheels, and you can roll it away and go dump it somewhere. We're not really going to go into that, but we'll cover the existence of it, right? So there's the toilet. Now, I believe our water is on. Yep. So basically, you fill up fill up the toilet by pressing this, right? Then when you're ready to flush, swipe that. That opens the valve, and away it goes into the cassette. Now back here, we have this switch. So this section back here can all be turned into one giant bed by laying this down, right? Right now we're going to put it back up because it'd be easier to show you around. So let's say you lay this bed completely down, right? Lay the bed all the way down with that button that I showed you. Lays completely down, so you have like almost like a C-shaped bed, but you can actually make this part of it too, so it'll be one complete bed from here all the way to the back. So how you do that is, this is attached with Velcro. So undo the Velcro, and this is going to sit right here on this shelf, right here in the middle. And then these extra cushions, this one and this one, will fill the gap that this leaves back here. So you'll have one complete bed. Hope that makes sense, because that's as much as I'm gonna describe it. Storage. Now behind this space, behind this panel, is our breaker box. You have 12-volt fuses, 110 breakers, everything's labeled. So that's our little breaker box. And in here, we have our manuals, all the manuals for all the components in the van. TV. Now our TV is on a swing arm. Pull that chain, that'll release the swing arm, so you can pivot that TV around. You can even view it from the front or from the back, it don't matter. Those seats in the front, of course, swivel, so you can have them facing back. At least the right one does. The left seat you can kind of pivot to face sideways, but not so much to the back because it's up against the wall there. Then back here you do have USB ports, and that little odd looking little thing is a temperature sensor for the air conditioning system. Another outlet. Sorry, this outlet will have power when the inverter's on. I don't think that one on that side does. This one will have power. There's a button to power on your antenna, TV antenna. HDMI port, by the way, that HDMI port does feed into this TV here. Your shades are manual. Now, up here, there's some storage above the cockpit area. Here's a little storage bag for the ladder that's in the back. I'll show it to you in a second. This right here is a privacy cover. So when you're in camping mode and you're sleeping in the van, for privacy, obviously you need some privacy, right? So this is a privacy curtain that goes here to cover this window, because you'll notice it does not have a curtain on it. So basically you see those little Velcro tabs. The curtain has Velcro attachments that'll attach to that. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so up here, our Truma system. Basically the way this works, press here, we see our different things. That whatever's blinking, like here we see this little symbol that looks like a camper that's blinking. That's what I currently have selected. So by turning the wheel, we can select this other thing that looks like a thermometer and water. That's for a water heater. So now that's selected. So keep circling. I can change settings on the fan. Keep selecting. So now I have it set to, that's where I can change, what is that, schedules. So I can set schedules for things. I can set the time here by selecting this flashing clock here, and I can get to the main settings. and back to cabin heat. So if I want to turn on the heater, I can select that and press enter, and you can see that it's off, and I just turn the wheel. I can set the temperature I want and then press enter, and then it'll be selected. So right there is turned on. And up here above the black line is our status line, so it tells me that cabin heat is on. That's what that flame means. And it's currently heat is being produced by this bottle. So what that means is the bottle it represents propane. So right now it's telling me that we currently have cabin heat on, and we have hot water on, provided for by propane. And one little pedal illuminated on this fan tells me that the fan speed for the heating for the cabin heat is set to low. So I can change settings by turning the wheel. Right there I selected the fan, press enter. Eco means like low setting, high, set it to high. Now there's two pedals shown here on this fan. So that's as high as it goes. It's only got eco and high. So right now I'm going to hit back button here. That's that arrow. I'm going to go back and select cabin heat, and I'm going to shut it off because we don't need cabin heat. It is hot. So now you can see that the flame went off above our status line, so that the cabin heat is off. However, hot water is still on, being provided for by this propane bottle, right? So right now I am going to turn off the water heater. You can see it's set to hot, or we can set it to eco, which will just be warm water, or we can set it to off, or we can set it to boost mode. In boost mode, basically it's gonna turn off. If we had cabin heat off, it would turn off the cabin heat and just give you divert all its resources to just giving you hot water. So that's if you need hot water right now and need all the power just for that. But in this case, we're just going to turn everything off. Hit enter, hot, eco, off. Now you can see there's nothing left shown above the black line. That's our status line. So that means everything on the Truma is currently off now. That's if you need to shut everything off and there's anything still being shown above the black line, that means something is still on. So you can see there, nothing else is shown above the black line. That means it's all off. All right, so now our BM Pro system. So basically just see these icons on the left side. Each one represents a different page on the screen. So for example, here we're looking at our home page. Our home page there can show us our fresh tank, which is the blue line, our gray tank, which is this next line here, and show us how much is in those tanks. Lighting controls, so I can get to our lighting controls by touching that light button, right? I can turn our AC on and off by touching this climate button. Master lighting, this, if I hold that button on, it'll turn all the lights on, or I can press it once and it'll turn all the lights off. I can turn our water pump on and off with this button. I can hit climate button and that will turn off the AC in one fell swoop. Now these other buttons are quick access buttons for the lights. Then we have more quick access buttons, so I can right there, A1, F1, off, pairing. A1 is awning, so when I have it on A1, I can press extend retract to move the awning in and out. When I have it on F1, I can extend retract, and that is for our fan. Open and close our fan. It's right overhead. Off, well obviously that'll turn off the system. And pairing, if I hit extend while this PA is showing, it'll put it into pairing mode, and this will start to flash here on the screen, and it'll be in pairing mode. So at that point, if you download the BM Pro app, you'll be able to pair your phone to it to allow remote control of this system on your phone, right? Of course, like I said, you do have to download that BM Pro app. Now, additionally, we have water-related stuff, which is our water pump. We have tank heaters. Now, that is not the water heater. That is like an electric blanket that is glued to the underside of these tanks to keep them from freezing in the event that you're camping in cold weather. Third button, that's our awning control. You can extend and retract the awning from here. And then we have our air conditioning page where we can turn on and off the air conditioning and adjust the set point. We can set the AC. Right now it's in cool auto or just cool alone, or you can set heat. I'm sorry, not heat. In this case, we don't have heat on this. The heat is provided by the Truma. But you can set it to off right here, obviously. You can see cool, cool auto, and fan. Here you can see that we have low or high. And then off would be if we touch that right there. And then this is our lighting page where each individual light can be turned on and off. This lightning bolt looking thing shows us this page here where we can see a number of different things. Most of them are electrical related. You can see our batteries, our chassis battery, that's our engine battery, that's that, shows the status on that. We can see our coach battery, which is the camper battery. See what the status on that is. We can see our propane tank is 7/8 full. We can see our solar controller, which is the brains behind the solar system. That's behind the seat back there. How much voltage it's creating. Currently it's not really producing any because we're under carport here. So, and it's going to tell you, different stats about all that. So, any case, but yes, this will give you a lot of information. So then this last icon, you can control the vent. Once again, this vent by pressing up here, or I can close it. So that is how you operate this BM Pro touch control system. So hope that made sense. Another thing we have in here, of course, we have a smoke detector. There is a carbon monoxide / propane leak detector right here. Smoke detector does use a 9-volt battery, just like the one at home does. And this unit here is plugged into the battery power here. It runs off it's wired into the main electrical. One last thing in here. So behind this panel is a utility panel. So that's our water pump, our on-demand water pump. Water filter that can be replaced is right there. There is a wrench for it in one of these drawers over here. That blue petcock that you see right there, if you open that petcock, that'll allow water to drain from the holding tank for the fresh water tank to the exterior underneath the van. Like if you need to drain that tank for whatever reason, maybe you're winterizing. All right, we're gonna head outside. Now these seats, as I said, they can be swiveled using this lever here. See that? In order to move them, if you want to swivel them that way, of course you do have to lean this forward and slide the seat forward just so it doesn't hit. So you got to get it past this B pillar. Once it gets past the B pillar, then of course you can back, lean it back or whatever you want to do. Now you have an outlet, got 110 power and propane quick connection. You could actually hook up a propane, a propane grill. And back here in the back, remember that ladder that I talked about up there where the storage bag is over the cockpit? This is our ladder. It's like an extendable telescoping ladder. And then this is a magnetic base. You can like stick this magnetic base on the side of the van. Just stick it on the body, and then the ladder can, using these little bungee attachments, that way the ladder's not, it kind of holds it in place to make it safe so you don't slide off the back of the van while you're climbing the ladder. So, and then this bag here holds our are shades for the front windshield. It's basically a fold-out shade that covers the windshield when you need privacy, right? When you're camping. And it's also got side covers for the side windows up front, and those have little magnets that are sewn into the material to help it stick. You do have to have the doors open, however, when you install those, and they go on the inside. Now, of course, this is a screen that closes off the back. You can see it's got little straps there. It's got zippers and these lights back here. Just press in. That's the switch right there. Now, underneath this area, the inverter and associated electronics for the lithium system are hidden under here. Not very well hidden, as you can see, because I can clearly see them. But it's going to be ventilated. That's why it's got all these slats right there. A lot of the electronics are right there. That big knob, that's a protection system for the lithium batteries. So if the batteries were to get extremely low, this would shut off to protect the batteries, because the batteries can get damaged if they get extremely low. Also, if it's extremely cold, it can cause that to shut off. But this is basically a breaker. So if this gets tripped, like it's pointed this way, you got to flip it this way to reset it. We are going to close this off here. This hose, this water hose, is for water, which can be connected here. Water hose here. Why you would want it so close to electrical, very sensitive, expensive electronics like this, I don't know, but there it is. I don't make the vans. Now, propane. So there's some components on this van that use propane, like our cabin heater, like the water heater. For that, you do have propane. So this does not have a typical conventional handle that you turn on to open the tank. It's got a switch. So when the red light is on, propane's on. This is where they fill it. You know, that's where your propane is filled. So when the switch is off, propane is off. Now when you turn off the battery disconnect switch that we saw at the entrance, it will turn off that switch automatically. Now this is a storage for your sewer drain, for the drain hose. That's the hose that actually comes with a basic drain hose. That's exhaust vent for the Truma hot water and cabin heat system. That's the drain down there. See that T handle? That's what you pull to drain the gray water. There's a cap. Twist off that cap, attach your hose that we see right there to drain it. And of course this is our cassette holding tank. To pull that out, gotta press this little blue thing, and out she comes. Now I'm going to see if I can find a video that shows the use of this system, but usually if you're getting into one of these vans with a cassette toilet, you probably already know what a cassette toilet is. So, but I'll try to link below in the description a link to a video describing how to use one of these. Now, of course, your city water connection goes there. Our shore power, this is the shore power cable for this van. Cable connection. That's for this connection here is for an auxiliary solar panel. The fuel for this van. Oh, one other thing. behind this is locked here, but you have a key on your keychain there. But behind here is where you add water to the onboard water tank. So you add fuel there, it's diesel fuel. So of course you got to have the door open to do that. Now this van does have a big spotlight. See that button that says spotlight? That is for that big spotlight up there. See that? And you may not be able to see it. Maybe you're looking at it wondering what the heck that is. That is the spotlight. It's got like a protective cover to protect it from rocks, I guess. It's got a cover, so you'd have to take that off, obviously, if you want to turn it on. Additionally, you can pop the hood. See this hood release right here? Under here, you can see that's where you fill your depth fluid from time to time. Windshield washer fluid goes over there. That's about the only things you would typically come under the hood for on these vans. Now, back here in the cockpit, I am going to show you a few things here in the front. For that, I'm going to fire it up. Press foot on the brake, press start. Okay, so we have the engine fired up. I'm going to go over a few things that may or may not be completely obvious from looking at the van or sitting in the seat. So, first off, you have a couple of screens. So you have this touch control screen here, and you got this screen here that is not touch control. You can control this screen here in the center with this little black square. See that? Just swipe your thumb across this thing, this little black square. It's like a mouse pad on a laptop. Just swipe it, and when you see something you want to look at in more in depth, like let's say I can scroll down to what? Miles per hour. I can put it on that screen, and then we have a back and home button, so I can press that. And that brings me to my home page where I can scroll to different things like service. So if I want to see more stuff in depth, like I want to see what my depth gauge is looking like, tires, engine oil level, how much oil is in the system, different things, right? So, and of course you can get to your adaptive cruise and cruise control settings here. And this other little square will get you to controlling this screen here, right? It does have a back button and a home button there. Volume control here, and controls for your Mercedes Assistant, which is basically like Alexa or Siri for the car, except it answers to "Hey Mercedes," except this time, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Find Starbucks." Well, look at that.
Here's what I found. Which ones should I select?
Cancel, Mercedes.
Please repeat.
Cancel. Anyway, obviously you can see how that works. So if you say the M word, it's gonna bring her up and she's going to want to help you, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you don't always need that. So like I said, this little black square controls that. You can also control it by touchscreen. I can press my fingers and control it that way. And I can also go old school by actual regular buttons. I can press here, go to radio, press the home page there, go back here. I can press Navi, get to our navigation screen. So multiple ways to control things. Here's a volume control right here for the radio. And then of course we got our air conditioning controls down here. So this van is equipped with a WineGuard like router. If you want to subscribe to the internet and stuff, you can do it in the bag with the manuals back there. There is a manual that has your username and password to log into the system, and then you have to download an app and whatnot and subscribe. I mean, yes, it does cost money, but that can be done with that system that's in the back. Or also, my favorite method is the Mercedes. This Mercedes radio has a router also built into it. So, for example, I can go home page, go all the way to settings, go here all the way to system, right? Then I'm going to scroll to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, go down to Wi-Fi. I can see it's already turned on. We are at the end of the video. That's all I got to say. I hope you found this informational, and please remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that ends this video of this 2023 Tranquility 19P by Thor. And please remember to have a fantastic day.